I'm Anna Caban, the brand ambassador for Contrology. I am a certified Pilates instructor, certified by Romana Krzyzanowska many years ago, and so excited to be hosting this event for all of you out there. We understand that there are nearly 700 participants in this webinar, and they are coming to us from all around the world. So thank you so much for joining us. What we have in store for you today is a comprehensive classical workout. That means that this workout will encompass various pieces of apparatus that we use in a traditional setting. The first session, or the first part of the session, will start in New York City at the Contrology cohort with our instructor, Katie. Yep, woohoo! And then we're going to toss, and she will teach you the reformer, and then we'll toss to Las Vegas, where Lesley Logan of onlinepilatesclasses.com will teach you the mat work on top of the Cadillac. Now, if you don't have a Cadillac, no worries. Grab a gym mat, get on the floor, whatever you can do so you can participate as well. After that, we'll come to Los Angeles, where I am, and you will meet Natalie Rand, who will teach exercises on the armchair and the pedipole. And we'll circle back to Vegas, and Lesley will wrap it up on the Cadillac, doing some fun exercises and pulling in our little accessory that can be attached to the Cadillac. So you have to wait for that one. When we're all done, we'll come back here to our headquarters, AKA my dining room, and we'll have a little Q&A session. Now, I have some esteemed guests here today. In addition to our 3 instructors who will answer your questions, we also have our CEO and nice guy, Mr. Ken Endelman, in the house. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't have this great equipment to work out on. But it also wouldn't really happen with our partner in crime, Mr. Jay Grimes, who's here with us. He's been instrumental in bringing these pieces of equipment to life for the Contrology brand. So we're excited to have all of these people available for you to ask questions. The way that will work is that there is a Q&A button here at the bottom of the screen. Throughout the workout, you could ask a question about an exercise, about the history of Pilates, about Jay's experience teaching Pilates with Joe and Clara, whatever you want. Just type that into the Q&A section. If it's a question about something technical, like your computer's not working right, excuse me, you may get a response right then. If it's a question that's broader that would be good for most people to hear, it'll be left to the end, and I'll be prompted to ask that question of all or some of our special guests today. So get ready to have some fun, and let's toss it to New York City, to the Contrology cohort with Katie.
Am I on? Hi guys, so nice to see everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Katie, and here we are at my studio, the Contrology cohort in New York City, and we're gonna do a reformer workout today. So today we're gonna focus a lot on moving. We're just gonna flow, but we're gonna move cleanly and precisely. And as you do the workout, I want you to pay attention to where you find difficulty maintaining the alignment, because that's going to give you a good indication as to where you'll need to go after you do your reformer, after you do your mat, to build that skill. In addition, also pay attention to where you feel strong in that alignment, because that will also tell you where you go to challenge that exercise. Okay, let's get started. And I'm going to start with our footwork. So I'm going to do it on 3 springs. We're going to take a seat right at the edge. So my reformer's already on 3 springs. You can do 3 or 4. Do whatever suits your body. Before we even get started, if you do come to an exercise that does not suit your body, you do not do that exercise. You leave it out. So you can just take a seat, lie down, observe, and then once you're ready to come back in, join me, okay? All right, from here in one motion, you're going to take a seat, lie back down, and we're going to start with the very first footwork position. So you're going to go heels together, toes apart, and your toes will be about a 1/5 width distance apart, and you're going to press evenly through the big toe and the pinky toe on that bar. Squeeze your heels together. From here, you're going to scoop your lower stomach into the mat. It might feel like you're tucking your pelvis, and that's okay initially. So scoop that lower stomach in. Now, against the scoop of the lower stomach, you're going to lengthen the tailbone down and away. So now you're not tucking anymore, and you're finding the length through the front of the hip. Keep that scoop and lengthen that tailbone. Press the outside edge of the shoulder on the mat, as in your chest expansion, and you're going to scoop the ribs into the back of the body. So you feel your entire spine pressed onto that mat. Press your heels together, and you're going to stretch out. Zip the back of the thighs together and lengthen through the top of the head. Press into the foot bar as you come home. Stretch out 2, back of the thighs together and in. 3, getting longer with every repetition. stretch 4. And as you're moving, those heels don't move up and down. They stay in one place. 5. And the purpose of footwork is anchoring and aligning of the spine. So by the time we finish the balls of the feet footwork, the arches and the heels, your whole spine should be fully anchored on that mat in preparation for your 100 to come. I think we have 2 more. I'm a bad counter. Last one, and hold. Double leg pull to change. Knees together, feet together. Move on to the arches. From here, you're going to stretch the tops of the toes over that bar. And I love this foot bar because it really forces me to stretch the top of that foot. You're going to push the heels under the bar and press the back of the thighs together. There's my foot cramp, so I know I'm working it right. And stretch out. Get longer as you come in. Stretch it 2. Scoop the stomach in. Stretch it 3. Anchor the shoulders. Keep pulling the back of the body into the mat. 4. Press your legs together. 5. In. 6. In. Keep reaching those heels under the bar. Try to keep them under the bar as you go out. Keep them under the bar as you come in. 8. 9. 10. All the way home. Double leg pull to change. Flex your ankles. Press your heels into the bar. Now you're going to pull your ankles back, not just your toes, your entire ankle, and push through the center of the heel. Pull the stomach in, stretch 1. Stretch it 2. Top of the head reaches for the back of the reformer. See if you can get the reformer to touch the wheels all the way back. 5. 6. Your 2 legs become 1 strong leg. 7. 8. 9. 10, all the way home, double leg pull to change. Back to the very first footwork position we were in, heels together, toes apart. Press your heels together, stretch out as long as you can. Get a little longer and see if you can open the springs. Move the reformer all the way to the back, see if you can touch the wheels. Now from here, you're going to reach the heels under the bar. Lengthen through the top of the head, but keep reaching the heels down. So it's a battle between the heels and the head. And from here, the heels want to stay down, but the head is going to pull the heels all the way up. Lift the stomach as you reach the heels down. Feel the opening between the hip and the thigh. The stomach scoops up and then stretch those heels under the bar. Reach it, reach it, reach it. Pull the heels up. Lift the waist, reach the heels down. Pull the stomach in, anchor those ribs. Keep fighting to keep that back on that mat. Lift up, scoop the stomach, lower the heels. Reach it, long neck, and watch the ankle bones don't touch. You still have that equal weight through the big toe and the pinky toe. Back of the thighs draw together and lift 2 more times. Reach the heels under the bar and up. Last one, stomach scoops in, push the heels down, press up, keep the heels up. Push into the foot bar to keep the length as you come home. You're gonna reach back and grab your handles. Bend your knees into your chest, and you're going to lower your foot bar down. So if you don't know how to do that, you're going to take your right foot, you're going to hook it underneath that bar. Your left foot's going to go down under. You're going to kind of fish for the bottom part of the bar. Lift the bar up with the right foot, and the 2 bars come together, and you lower them down at the same time. From there, you're going to slide forward just a bit, and let's take our arms and legs up to the ceiling for my favorite variation of the 100 as taught to me by my teacher, Kathy Ross-Dash. This one kills me every time. Anchor the shoulders down, zip the back of the thighs together, like you just did in your tendon stretch. Lift the chin to the chest and roll up to the shoulder blades. From here, you're gonna lower the arms and legs down at the same time, pushing forward and up into your handle. You're gonna roll up as far as you can, as if you're rolling up into a teaser. And from here, let's begin pumping for your 100. And inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 32, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 40, and try to move that reformer all the way back. Reach to the toes. Feel the top of the head reach for the ceiling, and you're going to scoop the rib cage into that back. And 62, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 72, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 80, keep rolling up, don't fall down. Curl up a little higher. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 90, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 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 exhale. Hold it. Push into the handle. Squeeze the juice out of the exercise. And the arms and legs come up at the same time and you die. Good. Handles into one hand. You're going to sit up to the side. Take your legs to the side here. And you're going to take off one spring. Try to keep the spring symmetrical so you work evenly. So I have 2 outside springs, and we're going to go into our frogs and leg circles. So you're going to stand up, go to the back of the reformer. You're going to grab your straps, these long straps here, drape them over your forearm. And the way you thread the straps, you're going to slide the handle down. And the strap is going to make a loop here, and you're going to align the 2 loops together. Take the strap, thread it in between both loops, and you're going to clip it. And when you clip it, you want to make sure the hardware is facing out. Then the reason being, it's just a safety reason. So when you're doing your leg circles and your frogs, that let's say you're in the middle of an exercise, the hardware, they clip, your legs go flying out, don't want to hurt yourself. So make sure the hardware faces out. You're going to put that on your forearm just for placekeeper, and you're going to do the same thing with the other one. Slide the handle down, thread the strap, align the 2 loops together, and then you're going to thread the strap. Hardware faces out. And from here, you can look at that and make sure that your straps are straight so they're not twisted, because if one is twisted, the length is shorter, and that's going to show up in your workout. And you're going to take the straps and put them on the pegs where the handles were resting before. From there, you're going to come back to the reformer, just like you did in your footwork. You're going to lie back down, and you're going to put the straps onto your feet for your frogs and leg circles, and have the strap closer towards the heel. From here, you're going to pull the heel towards your bottom. So this is just like your footwork you just did. Pull your lower stomach in, scoop those 2 hip points together, and anchor the tailbone in opposition. Find that chest expansion and soften the ribs. The knees will hug the inside of the strap. Your knees aren't going to flop out to the side. You want everything to draw into that midline. From here, you're going to find a point in front of you and stretch your feet out to that point. Push into the straps and open the springs. Anchor the rib cage, anchor the pelvis. Keep pushing into the straps as you bend your knees. So you're always working in both directions, even on the way in. Press out into the straps, scoop the stomach in. Push into the straps as you bend. Anchor that tailbone in opposition. Press out, back of the thighs, zip together. Push into the strap and bend. And the amazing thing about these shoulder blocks is I can really open my chest here because it has those nice divots. So press, open your chest, find that chest expansion and stretch. Now stay here. This is one of my favorite variations taught to me by Carrie Regan. You're going to turn your toes out. We call this Charlie Chaplin. Bend your knees 1 inch. Push through the heel, zip the back of the thighs together. Let's go a little faster. We do this 20 times. Stretch out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anchor that tailbone. 8, 9, 10, 20, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push into the strap, bend your knees, and bring the carriage home. Let's go into our leg circle. Stretch out, hold. Push into the straps as you circle the legs down. Push as you draw your legs together and bring it up. Press out, always making space between your hip and the thigh. Keep pushing into that strap. So let's say I had difficulty finding that length. I might head over to the Cadillac to do this using the leg springs. But for now, it's pretty good here. And reverse, press out. Low inner thigh, and 2. Stretch out 3, push into the strap. Pull the stomach back. 4 and 5. Squeeze the heels together, press into the straps, and bend your knees in. Take the legs up to the ceiling, grab your straps, take them off your feet, and you can just drop them into the well. You're going to sit up, take your legs to the side. We're going to put our foot bar up for our stomach massage round. You're going to go back to the amount of springs you use for your footwork. So I'm going to put on 1 spring. Grab your handy pad, and you're going to place it perpendicular to the front of the edge. and you're going to take a seat. Take the toes to the foot bar just like you did in your footwork, heels together, toes apart. All the toes on the bar, and you're going to hold on to the front of the reformer. From here, you're going to find that rolling like a ball position. So it's not back here, right? This is like a dump in the back. You want to find the lift in the waist. Lift your heels up so you feel the thighs press against your chest. From here, you're going to do a spine stretch forward as you curl up and over. So now you have that lifted round position. Lift the heels up. They don't fall down. Press out, hold. Scoop the stomach in as you bring the carriage home. Press out 2 and in, 3, in, 4. You want to remember this position when we go into our knee stretches later on in the workout. 5, 6. Shoulders stay over the hips. They don't go forward and back. You have to use your stomach to stay forward. 8, 9, 10. All the way in. Stay here. Lift the waist up without sinking or collapsing in your back. Slide the hands back to the shoulder blocks. You're going to roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down to open your chest. Heels lift up, and from there, press out. Get taller as you come home. Feel the chest pull through those shoulders. And 2, and in, 3, in. So let's say you had difficulty keeping the lift of the spine. You might head over to see my friend Natalie in Los Angeles and work this on that baby chair. And 7, 8, scoop the stomach in. But for now, let's just keep moving. And in, hold it there without sacrificing the lift of your spine. Lift your arms up, hold. Boomerang your arms and reach your arms forward for your lift. Lift the lower back. Lift the upper back. Now lift so much you have to stretch. Oh, I lied, just kidding. Take off 1 spring. That would be crazy. Lift the spine up. So you're on 2 springs now. Lift as tall as you can. Get taller. Get so tall you have to press out. Much better. And lift to come home. Get taller, get taller, get taller. And press out. Get taller. I'm only 5'2", so I really have to get as much length and lift as I can. And lift, lift, lift. Zip your thighs together. And lift 3 more times. Lift. Grow 20 feet tall to come in. 25 feet tall to go out. 30 feet tall to come in. Stay here. You lift so much, you add the twist. Center, reach, press, twist, center, reach, lift, twist, center, reach, lift, twist, center, reach, lift, twist, center, reach, lift, twist, center, reach. Excellent. Let's take the legs out to the side and we'll lower our foot bar down. You can get rid of the pad, just put it back down. And we're going to go to the back of the reformer and get our short box. You're going to grab your box, pull it close towards your chest. From here, you're going to put the short box over the shoulder blocks and right in between the pegs. I lied. And don't forget to put your headpiece down too. And make sure the box is centered on that reformer. We're not going to be using a pole today. We're just going to be using our arms. You're going to grab your straps, take a seat, and hook your feet underneath the strap. From there, you're going to push out through the heel so you can feel the back of that body engage. Press out so you feel the outside of the hip engage and pull up through the inner thigh. So now you have this strong, stable base from which you can articulate away from. From here, press the hands onto the mat, a little different variation to find the lift as you in your hug. Scoop the stomach in, anchor and engage the legs and start to roll back. Remember, it's not a collapse here. You lengthen the waist beyond that box, push through the arms, scoop that lower stomach in, open that chest, hold. 2, 3, press through the arms. Top of the head lengthens up to the ceiling. And again, press. Engage your strap, find that strong, stable base and scoop the waist back. Scoop the rib cage back, keep pushing through the arms. So as you go back, you still have that open chest. It's not a collapse. Press, hold. 2, 3, press and lift all the way up. One more time, scoop, lengthen back, Reach through the heels, push out against that strap, hollow the waist, hold it. 2, 3, press, and lift all the way up. From here, leave your hands there. Lift again and press out through the heels. Flat back, tip back, hold. Push through the hands and sit up tall and relax. Lift, press out through the heels, tip back. Scoop the lower stomach in, soften the ribs. Get taller as you come home and rest. Lift, tip back. It's just a clean hip hinge. Push through those heels, pull the stomach in, go a little deeper on this one, hold it. Lift all the way up and rest. Take the left arm up to the ceiling. Right hand's gonna stay here like your mermaid. Press up and you're going to side bend over. Anchor that left hip. So this prevents you from collapsing into that right side. Push up the right arm and come to center. Change, right arm up, lift, reach for the ceiling, then stretch up and over, opening that right side body. Like my favorite stretch. Reach out to come up. Change, left arm up, reach for the ceiling, stretch up and over. Anchor that left hip. And even though you're side bending, you're still scooping your stomach into your back. Reach out to come up. One more time, lift, stretch up and over. Get a little longer on this last one. Anchor that hip, scoop the stomach in, and bring it down. Let's go for our twist. You're gonna make a fist with your left hand. You're gonna open your right hand in your fist, and you're gonna take your right hand and press it against your fist. Reach it up to the ceiling. Lift, feel that tailbone anchor down. Push, and you're just gonna twist to the right. Lift, twist it. Just focusing on building that lift today. And center, and relax. Make a fist with the right hand. Open the left palm, push the fist into the left palm. Press up, lift, tailbone anchors down, twist to the left. Feel the left shoulder go back. The left rib go back. The left waist goes back, but you anchor that right hip. Push into the fist, push into the hand, get taller as you come home. And relax, one more time on each side. Press, lift, and twist. Right shoulder goes back. Right rib goes back. Right waist goes back. Anchor that left hip. Come back, waist, rib, shoulder, and relax. Last one, press, lift, and twist. Left shoulder. Left rib, go up to the ceiling. Left waist, come back, waist, rib, shoulder, and rest. Ooh, it's just a lot of work to sit up really tall. From here, you're gonna bend the right leg into your chest for your tree. Hug the knee in and make sure you don't sink back to come up. So you're gonna think of doing a single leg pull to pull the knee into the chest. Hug it in. From here, keeping the spine tall. Stretch the leg out, 1. Bend. 2. Bend. 3, stay there, flex. Point. Flex. Point. Flex. Point. Walk out to the ankle. The leg does not move. You're going to do a spine stretch forward and bring the head to the inside of the knee. Roll all the way up, lifting the chest forward. And round forward, head towards your knee, scoop the waist back, and roll all the way up. One more time, round forward. Articulate up. Bend the knee and put that foot back down. Let's do the same thing with the left leg. Left knee sides into the chest. Try not to sink back. Sit up as tall as you can and stretch out. 1, 2, 3. Walk out to the ankle. Flex the foot. Don't sink. Pull the chest forward. Point the foot. Think your stomach massage, hands back. Your chest has to go forward and up. Flex. Point. Flex. Point. Now leave the leg there. Scoop the waist back and bring the head to the knee. Roll all the way up. Open your chest. Scoop the waist. Bring the head to the knee. Articulate up. One more time. Round forward. Roll all the way up. Bend the knee and put the foot down. From here, we're going to step off and we're going to take the box off and put it back to the back of the reformer. As you come back, you're going to put your head piece up, foot bar up for our elephant. And here we're going to go hand, foot, hand, foot into position. From here, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Hold the stomach in, and you're going to use these amazing little divots to really push your heels down. And see, I can really get that deep back body stretch when I push my heels down. Lift your toes up, scoop the stomach into that back, and press the carriage out, hold it. Lift the stomach and the carriage comes home. Press, lift, and the carriage comes home. Press, lift, press. Feel the thighs draw down into that mat. The thighs go through the heels. 5 more, scoop it in. 4, scoop. 3, scoop. 2, lift the waist. 1 more time, hold. Slide the right heel up against the shoulder block. Left foot goes up against the shoulder block. Keep the carriage home. And just like your stomach massage, you're going to bend your knees. Don't move that carriage and lower all the way down for your knee stretches round. You're already in position. From here, just like your stomach massage round, you're going to lift the stomach up. Feel the weight of the head into the body as you press out. 1, 2, this is just like your elephant. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it there. Roll the shoulders down the back. Pull the chest forward like your stomach massage, hands back. Lift up, press out. 10, 9, 8, 7. Pull from the heels. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it there. Reverse the curve, round the spine. I warned, this one's pretty nasty. Nothing shifts. You're going to slide the right foot forward. Lift the heel up. Try not to shift forward in one motion. You lift the knee up, hold. Press out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. Lower down. Slide the right foot back. Left foot forward. Stomach scoops. Lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. Lower down. You ready for the worst one now? These knee stretches always get you. Round your back. In one motion. 2 knees up like your double leg pull. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. We can do it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it and lower down. You're going to add a spring or whatever springs you use for your footwork. Step off, fly down. Let's go for a run. Toes on that bar, feet together. Open your chest, heels lift, and press out, hold. Lower the right heel down, lift the left heel up. Draw the inner thighs together, hold. You're always lifting through the top of the head. Down, lift, down, lift it together, down. Draw the thighs together and lift through the top of the head. And lift it, and lift it, and hold. Bend your knees, come all the way home. Take your feet to the corners of the foot bar for your pelvic lift. Open your chest, and you're going to peel the tailbone off, peel the pelvis off, but peel the sacrum off, but keep your 2 hip points, your pelvis anchored onto that mat. And press out. Back of the thighs draw together as you come home. Stretch it 2, and in. 3, in. 4, in. 5, try not to let the bottom go up and down. This is like your knee stretches, it stays in one place. Just the legs move in. Stay there. Articulate all the way down. 2 legs together, you're going to sit up. We're going to go for our kneeling front split. Take off 1 spring, so you should have 2 springs now. Hands to the foot bar, slide the left foot back. Right foot slides back. Single leg pull, take the left foot forward and on top of that foot bar. From here, watch that this left heel doesn't drop. The left heel should be parallel to the floor. Bring your pelvis forward and do your best to sit on that left hip. I know it's tricky, especially for me when my hips are a little bit tight. Keep reaching that left hip down and bring your right hip as far forward as you can. Open the chest And from here, you're only gonna press the carriage out 1 inch and just feel the thigh move back into the hip. And the whole body draws the carriage home. Press out 1 inch and bring the carriage home. Press out 1 inch. It's a great stretch. Bring it in. This prepares you for your down stretch eventually. And in one more time. Press out 1 inch and everything comes home. Take the left foot down, slide it back. Right foot comes up onto the foot bar. Bring your pelvis forward. Try to sit on that right hip as you reach your left hip forward. Roll the shoulders down the back, open your chest. Now the body doesn't move. The pelvis stays right where it is. Just the thigh moves back. Push back through that heel, hold. And in. Push through that heel. Keep the pelvis forward so you really get that deep front body opening. Press out. Body brings the carriage home. Press out. It's a lot of work for a lot of nothing. 2 more times. Press and in. Watch this heel doesn't fall. Press it and in. And take that foot down. And we can step off to the side. So that concludes the reformer portion of the workout. My name is Katie Yip. Thank you for joining me at the Contrology cohort. So if you notice that we used a lot of variation today to build the lift of the spine, and you continue working on that skill by going over to Los Angeles to see Natalie. But before we do that, we're going to head over to Las Vegas to see Lesley Logan to finish the rest of the workout. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys at the end.
Thanks, Katie. Well, you guys, I'm really excited because Katie asked you to pay attention ahead of time what was going to be easy for you, what you're going to struggle with, where you felt strong. And I want you to take all that information here with you on the mat because it's going to make a big difference. So when in doubt, leave it out. I like people just to keep moving. So if there's something that you can't do, pick something else that we've already done and add it in while we're doing that. We'll only do about 3 to 5 reps of everything, so you won't miss out on too much. All right, lying on your back, arms up to the sky. Just take a deep breath in and notice what parts of your back are touching your mat that maybe you weren't able to get on footwork in your reformer. And as you start to reach your arms back overhead, stretch your arms from your upper back muscles and get as long as you can. Reach your legs across the room like you're pushing into that foot bar, and then curl your head and chest up, lift your legs up, find your variation of the 100, which my legs are a little higher when I don't have the pleasure of the handles and springs on the reformer. But what I love about doing the mat work after the reformer is you're quite warmed up and those springs taught your body a lot that you'll need as you do this mat work. So just take a moment to breathe into your upper back, pump those arms as big wrists as you can, and stretch your legs out from your waist. And I've actually never counted to 100. So in the 12 years I've been teaching, so we probably won't do a whole 100. You're welcome. But in the moments that we have still together doing this, where can you get longer? Where can you get stronger? Where can you be less tense? Where can you bring your breath into a little bit more? And then finish your exhale as much as you can. Stretch your legs out across the room, arms up to the sky, flex your feet. We're gonna go into the roll up. If you are lucky and you have a strap like me, we're gonna use it. And if you've got a bar, even better. Take the arms back overhead, reach them long, and then roll up and over your legs. Pulsing 3 times, and then reach your waist back to roll all the way down. And if you can press your heels together and reach them across the room, it does give you a little bit of an anchor to lift your spine up and over, something that you'll get to practice when you're on that armchair in a bit. But for now, how can you use your 2-way stretch, your legs reaching away from the crown of your head to create lift here and length and space. Oh, I love a good roll up. So we're gonna do one more. And if you wanna keep doing the roll up, you can. I'm gonna go into the roll over. So ditching the straps, placing your hands into your handles, and then reaching your legs overhead. Stand on your upper back. Keep your chin up, open the legs, and then point the toes as you roll down, stretch the legs away, circle them together, and just lift the hips and go over. And I think it's easy to get wrapped up in what you can't do. So just focus right now on like what is working and how can you use more of that to help you in the reverse. So open the legs and go over, flex the feet as you take an extra stretch, point the toes, and stretch your legs away from the crown of your head. 2 more. Open to go over, and flex to get an extra stretch, close the legs, point the toes, and roll down. Last time. So if you're doing a roll up, finish the one you're on, roll over, we're gonna close the legs, roll down, and we all keep our right leg up, stretch your left leg long, single leg circles. So stretch your arms. If they're by your side, it's fine. Just make sure that you can feel your whole upper arm bone press into the mat, and it's easy to scrunch those shoulder blades, so let your heart soften and sink down. If you have handles, reach from your back into them, and then circle this leg 5 times across your body, around and up. As your leg goes wide to the side, how wide can it go without taking your left hip with it? And then reverse. For me, some days wide, some days not so much. My left hip likes to take a break. So it has to be invited to the party a little bit more. And then if you can, scissor switch your legs. So now your right foot's on the mat, flexed, your left foot's the sky pointed. And then again, 5 times across, circle around and up. If you get a hip click, it's just a sign you're not using your, I'm gonna call it your thut because we're all around the world. There could be kids in the room, but where your thigh meets your booty, you gotta use those muscles to direct this leg around. So if you can engage that, I promise that click will go away. And then when you're even, lower your leg. Arms up, give yourself a full roll up, drag your knees in, and grab your ankles. So something I like to do, because I'm really big, guys, on like, you gotta use your butt. It's very important in most people. It's like overused or underused. So place your hands on your ankles and push your shins into your hands and your hands into your shins. And because your arms are connected to your back, then that's going to create one part of your 2-way stretch. And because your legs are moving from your butt, you're going to get a nice, good hamstring glute connection. And then you can just roll back and forth, and you don't have that Elvis pelvis, that little twerking action at the top, and you don't even sink in your shoulders. And if you're having a hard time finding that arm back connection, well, that's what the armchair is going to be for. But for now, just take a note and enjoy what you can do in your rolling like a ball. And then stay up, bring your left knee in. You're gonna have your left hand on your left ankle, right hand on your knee. Your right leg's out to the high diagonal, and you're gonna watch that leg, and it's gonna stay there as you pull your waist back, roll down to the tips of your shoulders. And then here we go, 3 single leg stretches. Pull, pull, and pull, pull. So as you pull, it's from your back, it's actually happening. So try not to be super delicate with your leg, right? Like where you're just like touching it, like grab it and give it a good tug. And then bring both knees in. If you have to rest, I get it. No one's watching you, so go for it. But heels together, toes apart, double leg stretch. Reach the arms and legs away and hold. Just take this moment for this first one. Is your chest still up? Are your legs reaching from your seat and your center? Can you get a little longer in your waist? Circle around, pull in, and then reach, stretch. This is the exercise. If it's the only one you get today, you did a great job. You could pat yourself on the back, because sometimes this is the hardest one. Last time. And then legs straight up to the sky, single straight leg stretch. Grabbing your top leg, push your top leg into your hands, pull 2 times and switch. Pull, pull, and pull, pull. So if you're someone who can be really impressive with your splits and your leg goes over your face, awesome, try this. Push your leg into your hand, get a little more action in the hamstring, and use that as opposition to your arms pulling from your back. Because when you put your hands behind your head and push your head into your hands for your double straight leg stretch, you're gonna want that upper back connection to stand on so that these legs can move away from you and stretch on up and stretch away and stretch on up. One more time. Here we go, crisscross, and then you get to sit up, I promise. Twist, smile, it's easier. And then curl up and over to the other side. And stay up as you go up and over. And it's really easy to take a rest in between. I know, I do it too. but you're watching. So get on up because I have to do it. And sit up. Spine stretch forward. You made it. So place your hands between your legs and take a moment because we're going to catch our breath together. Where are you sitting on your sit bones? Are you sitting on one or both? Hopefully you're on both. Push your heels down and reach them out. It'll give you more lift. Get your stomach off your lap, right? And then round forward, and your hands pressing along the mat help you lift your upper abs away from your thighs. Pulse 3 times. Sit up really tall. This is where I have a hard time. I kind of shortchange myself. So we're all going to try really hard to sit up really tall, and then round and pulse 1, 2, 3, lift. So if your hands are getting past your feet and you're not feeling a stretch in your back, you're cheating your spine. So get your arms on your back, and then as you reach your back across the room, and the arms help pull it there. One more time. You can stick with the spine stretch forward if you're not doing open leg rocker, but we're gonna drive here. Point the toes, lift the legs up, do the best you can not to lean back and try to meet your legs in the middle. I'm still working on that. So grab the front of your ankles though, because it's so easy to grab back here and hang, and it's just not gonna look good. It's also not gonna feel good, and it's gonna be frustrating. So grab the front where you have to keep your arms connected to your back. If your knees are bent, that's fine. Your elbows are straight because it will help you roll. So give me the straightest legs you can, and rock back, lift your hips, rock up, lift your chest. The more you push your legs into your hands and your hands into your legs, the more seat you get, the more two-way stretch you get. And we're gonna do one more. And you have to stay at the top. And you're gonna close your legs and you're gonna push them open. And you're gonna squeeze them closed and push them open. Just notice what this little intermission, it's like the hardest intermission in life, does for your connection to your center. Flex your feet. If you can grab your toes, go for it. If you can't, I still want you to try by reaching your hands past your toes and doing your open leg rocker like that. It will like make an awesome teaser someday too. So here we go. Reach your legs away and rock back and up. And because I'm pretty flexible in this, it's actually a bigger challenge to not let go while I'm hanging to my toes. One more. Hold it. Point your toes. Reach your arms for your toes. Roll yourself down. Corkscrew. So you can keep your hips up or down. I'm going to do the hips up version for those of us who are gluttons for a little bit more. But if you have to have your arms by your side, do the same thing you did on your single leg circles. Press your arms down with your shoulders wide. You need to have a wide upper back if you ever want to stand on it. So here we go. If you have handles, reach into them, legs up, hips up if you're going there. And then we're all going to roll partway down. Tip your legs to the right, circle them down around to the left and up through center. And as you do this, it's pretty easy to whip the legs around. And I just want you to notice if that's something you're doing. And instead, see how you can like scrape your legs around in that circle. Like you're really trying to stretch every inch out of it and kind of make it super juicy. I don't know why, but I started to think about when you like make cake batter, you really want to scrape all of the cake batter out of the bowl. And that's really funny because I haven't had a cake in so long. Gluten-free problems. So here we go. Sit on up, legs wide. If you have the pleasure of having moon boxes, boom, get those legs out wider than the mat. And if not, then here we are. Take your arms wide to the side. Take a moment to just press into something, like an imaginary magic circle on both hands. Like, what would that do? It makes me taller. So hopefully it gets your arms on your back and makes you a little taller. And then you twist to the right without moving your left hip. So just tell it what to do. It should stay down. And then look at your center and pulse 3 times. I know it's tempting to look at what that back arm is doing. Don't worry, it's still there. And then you won't over twist your neck and pretend like you're twisting your spine more than you are. Twist to the right, no cheating. It's just honest movement. Pulse 3 times. This is where we are today. And twist to the left and pulse. Last one, each side. If you were able to get this far without moving your feet side to side and shimmying across your mat, that's already a win in my book. And flip on over, some swan. So I'm gonna do one little swan prep. If you wanna stick with that, you can. Otherwise, we're gonna go into the dive afterwards. So hands underneath your shoulders. Roll those shoulders back. I like to spin my inner thighs up, gives me a little space back there, and then reach my tailbone long so that I can encourage the swan to be in my upper back and not in my very bendy lower back. So pulling your heart forward, lengthen your chest. Ask yourself if you just peeled up or if you brought your ribs with you. It's a difference. And then come all the way back down. So if you want to stick with that, you can. Otherwise, here we go. Pressing the chest forward. You're going to reach your arms wide to the side like you just did in your swan, and then stretch your legs out like you have been this whole time, and you just rock. It's pretty fun. And then sit back, take a child's pose. I like to put my head to my knees, grab my feet, and lift my stomach up. It's like a pre-crab, and it really helps me stretch my back. And then slide on out, make fists parallel. So I know some of us would love to be at the beach. Me too, it's really hot outside. But we're gonna pull our shoulders back and our chest forward, and just remember that your head is on your spine, so it should like be looking up and not like, how long do I have to do this for? So get that length, lift your center, and then kick one heel to your seat and then the other heel. So I like to think that if Brad didn't know what I was doing, he'd be like, what? Why is she just kicking her legs? You should just be able to see like the legs move and the rest of the body strong and like stable. And like it should look like a weird exercise. And it should feel good in those hamstrings. And then double leg kick. So promise yourself that you're gonna save the twerking and booty bouncing for tonight. And keep your hips here. So that means none of that action. You're gonna bend your knees and keep your hips down as you kick 3 times. And then instead of reaching your hands to your feet, what if you lift your palms to the sky so your heart could go forward and you could crawl your extension up to your upper back. Look the other way. Again, 3 kicks without shifting that pelvis. And then press your arms up so the chest goes forward. And, one more time each side. Just challenge yourself not to hang off a hyperextended elbow or overstretched shoulder and make it strong in your upper back. We're gonna need it where we're going at the end of this workout. Lift those arms up and then plant your hands. Take a big stretch. Okay, one of my favorite exercises is the thigh stretch, so I just couldn't skip it. I'm not gonna reach my arms up for obvious reasons, but you can if you know it. Otherwise, grab your bar, reach your arms out in front of you. Make sure your knees are a fist distance apart, and then they're not just hanging out. You have to root them down and then energetically hug them together. So there should be lots of action in those legs. And then as you press all 10 toes down and you lean back, reach your arms forward, press into your shins and come up. And it's tempting to let it go. Bring that booty with you over those knees. And then again, reach back. It's gonna feel like you're gonna fall forward. It's kind of like you're trying to peer over the edge of a mountain. And then again, reach back and come up. Last one, lean back and all the way up. Good, get rid of that. Okay, no water breaks. You're gonna do neck pull. Yes, you can do it. Yes, you can. Whether you have a strap or not, it's important. So I have a strap, which does make me really lucky, but it's because I wanna get the neck pull out of the way. And I don't want it to be the most miserable thing. So if you have a strap, place your feet underneath the strap, hips distance apart, and enjoy pressing out to the sides and then out through your center. If you don't have a strap, you can still do this. It's just gonna be harder, but at least you have the excuse that you don't have a strap. The rest of us have nothing. So here we go. Interlace your hands behind your head. And reaching your legs long out of your center, pushing your head into your hands. Roll up and over your legs, pulse 3 times. Sit tall. So we're just bringing everything we've been working on together. Then pull your waist back, Roll down, and this is where the neck pull is. Push your head into your hands into your head, and drag your spine as long as you can. No break at the bottom. It makes it harder. And roll, pulse 1, 2, 3. Sit tall. And pull your waist back, pushing your head into your hands. Promise yourself you're just going to tap down and come right back up and pulse 3 times. And lift and roll all the way down. Ditch your strap. We're going to do some jackknife. If you prefer to not go over your head, do double straight leg stretch. It's a really good way to practice for jackknife later on in your practice. So here we go. Arms by your side or arms reaching. Remember, you have to have a wide upper back to stand on. I encourage you to find something to look at on your ceiling and stay looking at it as your legs come over your head, and then legs go up and they reach up from your center. You're standing on your upper back, and then pull your waist away from you as your toes line up with your eyes. Stretch your legs away. Go all the way over. Stand on that upper back. Keep looking at that spot on the ceiling. Even though your toes get in the way and it gets distracting, you want to follow them down. I promise. Last one. Jackknife gets easier if you don't look down. And then roll your waist all the way away. Legs long. Point the toes. Arms up overhead. Take a deep breath in. We're going to do a little teaser train. You can get off at whatever stop you want. So here we go. Roll it up. Arms are parallel to your legs. Lift your arms high. Teaser 1. If you want to join me, here we go. Upper body goes down while your legs stay still. Upper body comes up. Don't make a big deal about your teaser. Just notice where you're rocking it and where you need work, because maybe you can find that with Natalie when you get to the armchair and the pedal. Hold. You can stick with teaser 1 or stretch your legs away, lift them back up, stretch them away, lift them back up. Whew. Trust me, it's hard. My legs are really long. You can do it. Here we go. Teaser 3, like neck pull, no rest at the bottom. Everything down, everything up, everything down, and stretch everything up. One more time, everything down. You can all thank me. No hip circles. Bend your knees in, grab your feet. Let's get to our seal. All right, ready to show off? So grab the bottoms of your feet, heels together, point your toes. I like to kind of push my feet into my hands to wake up my hamstrings if they try to take a break. Bend your elbows into your legs, create like a little magic circle moment between your elbows and your knees. Feet 3 times. Rock back, have your seat chase your heels, balance on that wide shoulder girdle we made. Feet 3 times, and come up. So you're beating, and then you're having fun beating back here. And again, you're showing off up here, and then you're gonna show off up here. And we've got 2 more. Last time. And oh, I'm a sweaty mess. I hope you are too. And now you get to take what you learned, what's still working for you, what's not working for you, over to Los Angeles with Miss Natalie on the armchair and the pedal pull. Thanks for flowing with me.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to All Things Core. We're actually in Santa Monica, which is also clearly in Los Angeles, but I just wanted to clarify that for everyone. And I have the privilege today to introduce you guys to the baby armchair and the pedal pull. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk to you just about safety, because that's really important to me. When you do have your apparatus, the baby armchair as well as the pedal pull, it can tend to slide. So if it's first of all, if it's your first time, you should be working with an instructor. But if you happen to purchase the equipment and just safety purposes and any instructor, just keep that in mind when you have a client or a practitioner with you. And the sticky pad in front of you, arm police stowed behind the chair until it's used, just because people have a tendency to forget that the pulleys themselves can be really dangerous, as well as we'll cover the pedal pull when we get there. And last but not least, I started my Pilates journey with Kathy Stanford Grant in New York way back in the day. I won't put those details in there. And I had the privilege as well to work with Lydia San Miguel. So, but in general, I'd like to say that I love classical Pilates, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. So earlier today, Katie and Lesley covered a few things in regards to making reference to the armchair, and it gets this reputation for being the special needs equipment. So it gets a bad name, but it really does. And even recently, I've had the opportunity to rediscover it and how much it reconnects you to your back, and it really helps you open up your chest and make that connection with the two stretches going up and away from the floor during the other systems in terms of the reformer and the mat. It's a great reminder. As soon as you sit in your chair, you feel a lift and an incline, which brings me to the hinge, how the chair actually does move back and forth, which is another safety measure, and we'll cover that today, all right? So we're gonna start in Pilates V position. Both of the palms of the feet are gonna come pressed together, so the big toe, pinky toe, and heel. I like to find my heels and press them against the bottom of the chair. If you have a new practitioner or someone that's having trouble with their knees, obviously you're gonna deal with the body differently based on who's in front of you, and you have the opportunity to put your legs in parallel. But we're gonna be working classically, so we'll press the feet together, find that squeeze in the inner thighs, which will immediately turn on and will engage your seat. Keeping in mind that the legs will always be engaged. If your knees are wide open, you are not serving yourself on the chair, all right? And then we'll start with the fists in front of the shoulders. Elbows are gonna be wide. Find that press in the floor, and the crown of the head's gonna reach up. Just in the very beginning, Katie referenced the hundreds on the reformer, and that stretch of the crown of the head as you push away from the floor, all right? I'm gonna stretch my arms directly in front of me to start. Today I'll be reaching my fingertips. You can close your fists if it's more appropriate for your body. And this right away is what you connect to when you're doing your hundreds and your roll-ups. And we're just gonna do arm raises. So from here, really find the floor. Your seat really will fire up, and the legs are working. I don't know if you can see my legs, but they're definitely working. Inhale, reach the arms up. All right, allow the arms to go up. Here you are in your roll-up position. And then exhale, let's press the arms just to the height of the shoulders, right? Again, inhale, bring the arms up, just to the height of the brows, and then exhale, press down. Right? And the whole time, you're really getting the feedback in the back of your chair. Do about 5 reps. And inhale, lift. Good. Keep engaging and squeezing those feet together. And you really can even peek at my shirt and watch the lines in the shirt disappear as I continue to lift my navel up. And exhale, press down, right? I'm just gonna extend the range. So lift the arms up, and then keeping the arms outside of the frame. So you don't want the springs to touch the frame. You'll inhale and bring the arms right back up. And press the arms down. And reaching through the fingertips. Don't forget to push the heels, press the feet together. And again, lower the arms down. And lift the arms up. One more time, reaching down. And bring them up. All right, from here, we're gonna bring them to shoulder height, and we'll bend the elbows right at the shoulders and release the arms. All right, so from this next position, we're gonna continue keeping the legs together, keeping that press. You have a tendency to, you'll find that people collapse down, especially when you're, again, going back to the reformer, referencing the stomach massage series. This is a really great opportunity for you to find that lift. But later on, when you get further into the systems on the reformer, you have the rowing series and all these other pieces where you really have to find the lift with your legs extended. So here you have the opportunity to keep your legs engaged, but you don't have that difficulty of having your legs up higher. So take advantage of that. Bend the elbows, holding the arms out, and extend the arms. We're gonna go into our hugs. Let the palms face one another, right? Here's our hug-a-tree. We'll inhale, open the arms out. Squeezing again the legs. Exhale, bring the arms forward. And the beauty of this is when you open the arms, you immediately feel your upper back, right? Which you lose when you don't have that back rest. And exhale. Good. Constantly reaching through the crown of the head, constantly pressing down into the floor, lifting in the navel. And let's do one more rep. Inhale to open. And exhale, close. All right, just to make it really, really fun, let's let the arms open, reach the arms forward, bend the elbows to rest. Let's mess with our hinge, right? Let's manipulate the hinge on the chair, which will, for me, it feels very much like you're doing a push-up and 100 at the same time, if you really do the connect, right? So elbows are gonna bend, arms reach out, all right? And then from this position, let's allow our body, again, the body is constantly growing, right? You're getting that smooth stretch. The upper body's going up, the lower body's pressing down, and then let's have you pull the navel on up, press down, press down, press down. Your back is not gonna leave the chair, and we're gonna slowly start to curl the body forward. Reach the arms, curl the body forward, reach the arms, curl. Believe it or not, I am moving. I am moving. Keep lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting and lifting. It's almost like a preparation for your rowing series. And then slowly allow your body to grow tall as if you were doing this spine stretch forward in the mat. And exhale, lift up and reach the arms. Start to lift and reach forward and lift and reach forward and lift. And you're gonna keep going forward. You're gonna keep going forward, keep going forward, keep going forward. And then slowly keeping that back against your body, the back of the chair. And one more time, squeeze and lift. Pull the navel back and continue to reach the arms. Reach the arms, reach the arms. Pull the navel and reach the arms, reach the arms. And slowly, as you squeeze the feet together, press them down into the floor. Let's bend the elbows, and then we're gonna add that to our arm hugs, right? So let's open the arms out. All right, we'll allow the arms to reach forward and open, right, just for memory. And reach forward and open. All right, and reach forward. And from here, keeping that back against the upper back of the chair, curl the spine forward. And we're gonna see here, keep the back of the chair against your body. You'll inhale, open the arms. Don't let the chair move away from your back. Exhale, pulling the navel in, reach the fingertips forward. Again, squeezing, pressing into the floor. And exhale, come forward with the fingertips. Inhale, open, really working the shoulder blades down. You're constantly getting that feedback from the chair. Push down, push down, push down. Inhale, open. And exhale, bring the arms together. And then from here, let's keep the fingertips connected and slowly allow the body to go back. And then open the arms and bend your elbows like we did in the very beginning. All right, last thing we're gonna do on here is we're just gonna reach the arms out. So it's very similar to the double leg stretch arms that we do on the mat, all right? We'll inhale, we'll reach the arms out. All right, we'll just do them at shoulder height and inhale, bend. And reach the arms out. And bend. And this week I really had a lot of time with the baby armchair, and my upper back is letting me know right now. 2 more. And reach. And from here, really lifting up. Let's bring those arms a little bit higher, squeezing the legs together, squeeze, 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 squeeze. And from here, without bringing the shoulders up, bend your elbows again, right? Keeping the shoulder blades stabilized, reach the arms out, watch the wrist, keep the fingertips lined up, right? And reach out. And bend. And reach out. And I really feel like my shoulders are trying so hard to get involved, so I'm gonna go to fist. Feel free to make adjustments when you really aren't connecting. 2 more. This is a really great way to check in. And 1, all right? Bring them right back down to that shoulder height. We're just gonna finish with a nice little preparation to box. We'll do 1 arm, right? I like to feel like the left side of my body is pulling in as I reach the opposite side back. And you'll really feel that symmetry. Like as soon as you extend the arm out, pull the opposite part of the belly back into the chair and then switch. And switch, right? I'm gonna alternate a little bit faster. Really squeezing, making sure that the springs aren't touching your chair. Right? And then when you start to feel like you're getting stronger, you can double pump. All right, and then from here, relax. They just really like underutilized, and it's such an incredible piece of apparatus. All right, so we're gonna move our baby chair out of the frame and go to this incredible piece of pedal. All right, I'm gonna go over. And I want you to notice something that I discovered when I had the privilege to get the Contrology suite version here. I don't think you can probably see the top at home, but I'll kind of give you a visual of how high it is all the way up here. The actual bar is more narrow than some of the other brands. It mimics the original piece, which is really interesting, and as well as the height of the springs. So just wanted to kind of give you that piece of information, because it feels very different, and you really find the back connection immediately, like beyond. Another thing here, I like to stow my springs together. Again, safety reasons, keeping it in front of the wall in the studio space is a really good idea, because sometimes if people aren't familiar with it, they can pull it forward. It's intended, it's created, and this incredible invention was made to be unstable, to help with stability and balance. Stability in the shoulders by far, that's one of my key pieces that needs work. And balance, stability in the shoulders are the two biggest pieces. So I'm gonna pop on, again, sticky pad on for safety as well. And the first thing that I'll do is and breathing, of course. First thing I'll do is lean against the pole. So I believe I've been doing a lot of research with the pedal recently, after having discovered that I was going to be on here with you guys having this early morning party. And I learned that there's a poster that exists out there, an original poster that Joe had, where the exercise began with the arms up. So as you can see, when my arms are out, they usually hang in a T shape for some of the more traditional apparatus, but they're slightly above, right? In the Pilates V position, again, which is, more sophisticated for someone that may have some different issues, but for me, it works really well. And my body is against the dowel behind me, all right? If you don't have this apparatus at home, feel free, you can actually use the wall. My feet aren't all the way against the dowel. As you get stronger and you find more balance, you can certainly put your heels closer to the pole. All right, and then we're just gonna actually start with the arms reaching up. So the shoulder blades are gonna go down, we're gonna reach the arms up. And as soon as you lift your arms and release the tension, you really feel the floor, right? Just like you were earlier on the armchair. The seat is like, it immediately, once you push the floor away, you literally grow like an inch or two, all right? And from here, keeping the shoulder blades stabilized, then we'll go ahead and put a little tension on the straps, and we're gonna work the arms down for 8 counts, right? No locking of the joints. Exhale, press the arms down, keeping the shoulders stabilized. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good, and I'm not gonna stop all the way to the side, because for me, my challenge point is here. When I bring my arms all the way down, I actually disengage and I start to lock. So I'm gonna stay here, and then inhale, bring the arms back up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And as I release the springs, I'm still gonna keep my body engaged, right? That was my release. And re-engage, pressing down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pushing the floor, crown of the head's going up, my butt's on fire. And inhale up. 2. See, I went in there to cheat a little. 4, to give my arms a rest, I bring my arms closer to my body. 7, 8, good, lifting up. Another thing you can do is really extend the limbs. Reach the arms, press away from the floor, 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 and out. 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. All right, and from here we're gonna go right away into knee bending. All right, so the arms are gonna immediately engage, bring them to your shoulder height. Right, that's where you'll get that nice stabilization. And I'm just gonna bend the knees, keeping my arms reaching out to the side, trying not to disturb the shoulders. Feel the back of my body really pull in, so that almost crack the walnut situation into the dowel. Exhale, bending the knees. 1, 2, 3. Push away, push away, push away. All right, this is a really big challenge for me personally. And push away, push away, push away. And once more, bend. All right, most people, the range of their knees doesn't go all the way down to the floor, so this is really functional for me. And now I'm gonna be here and press my arms down. And I'm gonna bring my body all the way up, add that extra variation in there. And bend the knees with the arms down. Keeping that stabilization in my shoulders, lifting the navel, pushing the floor, pushing the floor, pushing the floor. This is also bringing us back to Katie in New York with the footwork. And another challenge, how often do you teach and talk and work out? This is it really gives you the opportunity to breathe, right? One more time, and then I'll lift the arms up and let them float as I come up. All right, one more time. Exhale, press the arms as you bend. And we'll come up and down. And 2. Keeping those shoulders stable. Right? Another luxury when you don't have the apparatus, when you have the mat, you can kind of cheat and not really see, but this bad boy, the pole never lies. It never lies, you can see everything. All right, and then from this position, I'm going to go ahead and lift, reach. I'm going to go into the small rise. So I'm going to press my toes into Pilates V and rise up. All right, doing the same exercise that I started with. The difference is obviously my heels are lifted, right? And once you do that, immediately, like, you know, you can even see the pole, you can even see it in my hair. We'll find that stabilization again. And we're going to bend the knees on the pole, taking the shoulder blades down. Then reaching through the arms and stretch back up. Push away from the floor, push away from the floor. Right? Just keeping the arms in this position is like super challenging. I feel like it's double the work because I actually have to bring my arms in order to bring my arms to that T shape. I'm using my lats like crazy. Right, then I'll change it. Bending the knees. Exhale, press down. And float back up. And I'm going to bend 3 times in this position. Keeping that stabilization in the shoulders. And one more. Good, and then from here, I'm going to float my arms all the way back out, pulling the navel and reaching the arms up. And lowering the heels. All right, so going from here, we'll go into the arm circles, which already my arms are like, oh my God. Bringing the arms in the position, that T shape immediately brings us to T-pull on the reformer, to simply the double leg stretch arms again, or any reaches out to the side and or above the head. That roll up position, the hundreds. All right, so we're gonna go through the arm circles in a really neutral position. Pilates V, finding the navel lift, pressing the floor, making sure you're not locking your joints. Bring your arms to the T shape to begin, reaching the arms away. Exhale, press the arms down. And forward. And open, right? And when you start to see the pole move, you know you're not connecting in your back and your abdomen. You're starting to use the external limbs, right? So really, really, really pull the navel as far toward the pole as you possibly can while keeping the shoulders stable. And then come back to the center. This is incredible for pregnancy. You still can get all of this incredible work in your back and your body without curling and or lying down. I would know now with a 3-year-old, so I'm getting it all together and then bringing those arms all the way back up. And bring in the elbows, all right? And from there, I'm gonna bring you right back to Lesley in Vegas to crush it and finish us off on the Cadillac.
Hi guys. So welcome back to Las Vegas, and I'm super excited. We have a pretty hot party going on over here because we're gonna do some fun stuff. So first, let me show you something fancy. It's my Vanna White moment, so bear with me. So I got in my fancy toy box with my Contrology Cadillac, the neck pull, which we're gonna use. And I'm gonna grab some leg springs because they're gonna help us. And we're gonna get playing with this. So something that you probably have already discovered in your body after your reformer and your mat and your armchair and pedal is how connected you are to your back and your spine and how your head moves with all of that. And if you're like me in a hypermobile body, we can make things look really pretty. It doesn't mean we're actually connected. So this is a really good challenge for me. And if you're a tight body, well, it's Pilates for everybody, so that's fun. Okay, so what I like to do is I hook the neck pull up to my leg springs, and then you're gonna put this loop around your forehead. And I like to be in a spot where my leg, I'm not pulling on my leg springs to be in the position, but they're also not just like hanging out. So I'm almost to the edge of my Cadillac here, and then you grab the back of the strap. And you know, you've done shave, so you know how to reach your arms from your back here to help that happen. And then just like in your spine stretch forward, everything you learned about your legs and the pedal and the armchair, how much can you root them down and reach them out so that as you push your head into your strap and you go head towards your knees, it allows you to lift your center up away from your legs. And then you actually have to resist the spring whipping you back up. So you push your head in, find your tall back and around. So something I like about using this neck pull is it reminds my stomach what to do, because it can kind of get a little lazy sometimes. It's like, oh, you're rounding forward, no problem. That's easy. And let's do 2 more together. So if you're not using a neck pull right now, a neck stretcher, excuse me, then go ahead and just do your spine stretch forward and try to roll up and down a wall. That will help you. And last time with this neck stretcher going forward. Ooh. All right, now that we're massively connected this way, take it off, keep your booty where it is, swivel around, and then you're pretty much set up for the flat back version, which is really good and solid for me. It's a good challenge. So it's easy to think that you're pushing back with your head here, but if you remember what you had to do on your short box series flat back, it's not really about where the head goes. The head follows the spine. So how can you lead your low back, so your sacrum back first, but the whole spine looks like it's going in one piece? Go as far as you can and then push back into the spring to lift up together. And again, so low abs are pulling back, and I try to make my spine go in one piece without leaving anything behind. So starting at the sacrum first, open the front of the hips and reach back and come all the way up. And to be honest, like, I mean, that's the most connected I felt in a long time. So I'm really grateful that I got this little tool. And we could stop there, but why? Why would we stop there when we have so much more we can do with this? So we're gonna do the hanging pull-ups. If you are someone who can whip out 3 sets, no problem, you rock. This has never been my party trick, and so I'm not gonna pretend it is. So if it's not yours and you tend to avoid it, hey, let's do this together. It's gonna be really awesome together, I promise. So for me, I have to remind myself that my legs are part of this exercise, not just about the arms. So first thing you're gonna do is grab on, and then it's easy to think you have to jump up. As you can see, my hair bun and ceiling have met. And so thankfully I actually can't jump up, because you shouldn't. You actually should like pull everything together and then levitate into this trapeze over here. So here we go. Grab your poles, find your arms connected to your back. I have to remind my left arm that it goes in a little bit more than it thinks it needs to. And then lift your legs and land in your trapeze. When you hang down, it's tempting to hang off your back. Try to keep your arms connected to your back and reach your hips down. Then use your legs to also help you come into a plank. Use your legs to find that back bend, and then keep standing on them so you can pull up 3 times. And if you need a break, go ahead. I'm gonna try to get one more in without my break. And then stretch, find your plank. Use those legs to lengthen the hips up so your chest can go through your arms. And then 3 pulls using your back and your legs and not just your arms. And then try not to panic. Pull yourself out. I'm gonna give my hands a little moment. We are gonna do a third because how else are we gonna ever get to 3 if we don't do 3? But something that is important to note is that if you make this an arm exercise, it's pretty miserable. If you bring your Pilates into this, every exercise you've been doing, like think about your footwork or your 100, it's pretty, and it makes it possible. Let's be honest, it doesn't make it easy. So here we go, one more set. Another chance to get in there without, falling. And reach, lift the hips and stretch your legs away, big back bend. And then 3 pulls with your back, using your legs reaching away to make you lighter. And then a little graceful. Okay, so little Clara castanets for our fingers. I'm gonna grab my sticky pads because my grip strength at this point is not where I'd like it to be. Something I really like to do, I mean, everyone likes to do it, is the big twist. I mean, who doesn't want to just hang and twist, right? So we're gonna do it, and it's gonna be fun. And we're gonna try to get 3, but if you have to come out of it sooner, I might have to as well. We'll see what happens. We will. So grab on, lift your legs up into the center, bring one knee in, tick-tock the leg over, bring it in, step, and then the other leg, twist, and bend it in and twist. So you're doing a single leg stretch in and a tick-tock over, and a single leg stretch in and tick-tock over. Last time each side. The standing leg, it's working just like your single leg stretch, and then whew. I just need to pat myself on the back for a moment, because every day for the last month I've been trying to do 3 in a row and it hasn't happened. So you guys must be my spirit animals because that's the first time I've done 3 without a break. So here we go. Put all that away. I mean, it wouldn't be a Cadillac workout without some hanging. So if you are able to hang with me, that would be awesome. Don't leave though. We have a big chat after this. I'm just going to get in the simple way. There is a way to get in standing, but for the purposes of not falling on camera, I'm going to lay down, grab my bars and lift the hips up, use your center, and then put one foot in your loop and then the other foot. All right, so I'm going to also twist. So I'm fully in my fuzzies. Okay, so you could just half hang here. And to be honest, I spend many a phone call with girlfriends like this. They don't know, but this is how I kind of like to talk to people. It's so nice. If you want to go upside down, here we go. Pull yourself back. And then just like the teaser train, there is a hanging train. You can also stop here. But I really am a big fan of this next move. So hands on the bar underneath your Cadillac and press yourself out, bend your elbows and come in and stretch. So still reaching the legs away, and your arms are moving from your back like they did on the pedal and in the armchair, everything else you've done. Last one, come in. And you can come out of your hanging now if you want, or just stay hanging, or why not add one more twist in? So turn your body around, place your hands on the bar, really get yourself twisted, and then give yourself a nice swan. And something I'm working on is not letting my neck pretend like I'm doing a swan and try to get my back to do it. And then a nice big upstretch snake situation. and then unwind, and then turn around to the other side. So one more swan. One side's always easier than the other. And then big snake. Careful as you unwind, right? So if you're not familiar with doing this, there's a lot of poles around, so watch yourself. Find center. You can either walk up your bars to get back up. I actually really love to challenge myself with a nice little roll up. Grab the ankles, maybe swing a little bit, because you can, right? And then land on the mat. Give yourself just an extra moment here, because you really shouldn't be rushing a good hanging. It's really good. And then lift the hips, take your feet out. You guys, thank you so much for joining all of us here. We're gonna chat, so don't run. You guys have been able to put questions in the Q&A. I'm so grateful for Ken, Jay, and the whole Contrology team for bringing Katie, Natalie, and I together with you, because there's so many of you around the world. So thank you so much. We would love to hear your takeaways, so definitely post them and tag us and let us know what you loved about this. And okay, guys, I can't wait to chat with you.
Hi there, we back. Okay, so I wanted to just interject before we start the Q&A with two things. Number one, if you're sharing on social today, which we absolutely hope and encourage, we would love you to use the hashtag Contrology Crew. You are a Contrology Crew, so let's make sure that we're all using hashtag Contrology Crew today, and anytime that you're doing anything with our Contrology equipment, we would love it. Secondly, these lovely shirts will soon be available for you. Katie Yip, would you be kind enough to stand up and turn around and show the back? Can you show the back of the shirt? See if we can get a good angle of the back. And turn around, come back up a little bit so they can see it. Maybe move your hair. We'd love to see the back of the shirt, if possible. See, Lesley just did that exercise. So these shirts will be coming to you in September, available on the website. So just stand by for that. And again, remember to use hashtag Contrology Crew. So I would love to start our little Q&A, and please all of you guys make sure you're unmuted, with Ken and Jay just speaking about this partnership and how it all began, that you started working together. I know some of our guests have heard the story, but probably some haven't. So let's kind of retell how this happened. Ken, I think you'll need to unmute. And the rest of the team, if you'd all unmute as well, because you may be asked a question.
Great. It's strange for me. First of all, thanks, Katie. Thanks, Natalie. Thanks, Lesley, for being on the show. You guys are great. It's good to see you guys again. And thanks, Anna. Jay, good to see you again. I know I just talked to you a couple of days ago. And I don't see Jay on my screen, so I'm just gonna have to listen for Jay. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. All right, perfect. And Anna, do you want me to start, or should we start with Jay?
You start.
Whatever you guys can duke it out.
Okay. You know, I think it kind of started in different phases, but the kind of the thing that got this whole thing going at warp speed was I got a call from Catherine Ross Nash asking me to build equipment for her. And then as we started working together, she said, you know, if you really, you know, to really make this thing work, you really should talk to Jay. And then she made the introduction for me to Jay, who I'd only had heard about at that point. And I called Jay and I just asked him about, you know, what I wanted to do. And Jay was very receptive to the idea of making classical Pilates equipment just the way that it was built, you know, just around this in the 70s, you know, without any changes in it, and to be, you know, faithful replicas of what was made. And so it kind of started with springs, and we were working with Karen Frischman on the springs, because the whole heart of the reformer was the springs. And if that wasn't right, then we couldn't get anything else right. Although, you know, when you really think about it, the spring is only one part of the machine, of the reformer. But without having the right springs, then nothing else really matters. So we had to get that totally right. And so we did lots of iterations of springs, and sending stuff down to Karen Frischman and sending stuff down to Jay. And and going down there and visiting stuff. And when we finally got springs kind of right, then we started working on the reformer. And that was really a challenge, because it was, for me, there was a lot that I did understand, and I had a lot of questions that needed to be answered. And it required someone of extraordinary patience to help out with this, because you always think that you know stuff, but you don't really start knowing what you don't know until you start talking to someone that does know. And so that was kind of the fun thing to work with Jay, because he put up with me. And when you're designing stuff and when you're making equipment, you make these prototypes, and they're kind of a segment to understand, but they can be wrong. But to get that right means you go to the next step. And so I think Jay was really patient, because he kept on giving me the suggestions on how to tune things and get it right. And that was the starting of the steps and stuff. So Jay, do you have anything to add to that?
You said I put up with you. I think it was really just the reverse. You put up with me because I was so picky, and there were things that were like, and Ken just said, okay, and made it happen. And that's what, to me, is so extraordinary, because he did put up with me, and it was a lot of nonsense. I'm sure to him, some of it, at least in the beginning, sounded like total nonsense. And I understand that. I understand it. That's part of the reason why, I think the equipment had kind of deteriorated over time, was because, engineers are wonderful. They're great. Thank God we got them. But that doesn't mean they know everything there is to know about Pilates. And they can see a way that, from an engineering standpoint, if we just change this a little bit, it's going to make all of this much easier and quicker and cheaper and whatever. And they don't realize that just that little bit changes the work. And because some of the things, Ken and his engineers were here, and they're measuring and checking, and like an eighth of an inch. An eighth of an inch doesn't sound like much, but it completely changes the work. So it was stuff like that. And like I said, Ken just would say, okay. And it all worked, thank goodness.
Jay, I have to tell you, one of my first visits down to Los Angeles, and so looking at your reformer, your reformer hasn't really changed. It's original, and the foam in it is original. And I remember looking at the foam and looking at the divots underneath the shoulder post, and I'm thinking to myself, man, this is really worn out, and it's really worn out right here. And then you start talking about these divots underneath the shoulders. And I didn't say anything to you, because I'm thinking to myself, is this guy nuts? But you kind of explained it. You kind of explained the purpose for me, and I started to think, well, maybe this is intentional. And then I got to understand it, and then we put that onto our reformers, and people love it.
That makes all the difference. When the equipment is right. To me, one of the greatest things, way back when we still had our vintage studio here, and you had sent us down, I'm not sure if it was the prototype or if it was just the first actual reformer that you built. And it was there in the studio, we were using it, and we had visiting us a teacher from Idaho who, she's wonderful. She's Carrie Shanafeld. She's brilliant. She's a brilliant teacher. She does gorgeous work. She's been doing this for, I think, over 25 years. She was originally Romana certified. She's amazing. So Carrie was here, and the reformers over at that end of the studio. And I was busy over here, and Carrie was doing a workout. She'd just gotten on the reformer. And all of a sudden I hear, my God, this thing is teaching me. And this is someone who is, you want to talk advanced. She's very, very, very advanced. But she, and that to me was, yay. It's, this is what it should be. The reformer has to work with you. It's there to help you. The whole idea, reformer, to reform the body. And that was the whole thing. Because Joe didn't explain anything. He didn't talk. He just shoved you down there and go. And you have to, I keep telling teachers, you cannot teach Pilates. It's impossible. People have got to discover it in their own body. Well, you can't discover it if you're not getting any feedback. So when the equipment is right, you get all of this feedback. You don't need a teacher standing there saying, do this, do that. Just go with it and you'll find it. And but that, as I say, the equipment has to be right in order for that to happen.
May I interject? I have a question, and this is for my instructors here. It's actually two parts. One, if you could just speak to the springs on the Contrology equipment, what you find perhaps in general, and then there's a specific question about, can ladies do the upstretch on 2 reformer springs on the Contrology reformer, and are they able to do the side arm steering series like Swakati, Lotus, etc.? Would someone like to speak about their experience with the springs versus other reformers and pediples and things you've been on?
I can talk to it.
Okay.
Hi guys, Lesley here. So I'm a hypermobile spine, and upstretch is actually a challenge for me on a lot of springs, because especially in that combo you're talking about, I'd show it to you. To make this magic happen in here today, we moved the reformer to the living room. But for me, for upstretch, I do regular upstretch on 2 springs, and it's a challenge. And when I do the combo with the swan you're talking about, I go down to 1, which doesn't actually make it easier. It just makes it more possible for me to find the reach into my legs. But I was playing around with putting a ball between my ankles or between my inner thighs. And when I do that, because it grounds my feet more, they can't roll out, I can do it on 2 springs. So I would say, having been on a lot of equipment, just because of the studios I've worked in, and having had other brands' classical springs, I would like to go back to what Jay said, like these springs have taught my body way more than any cue that I could get. And so, it's also okay to take a spring off until you can get to where you need to go. And I really like it. As far as the sidearms go, I don't do them on the reformer. It's just not possible on my body. I've tried. It looks like this. I just can't do it. And that's what the armchair is for. So when I'm doing a reformer and that's coming up, I just hop off, grab the armchair, do them, and then I get back on, and I don't make it a big deal. And I think that's fun. So maybe someone else can speak to that, but for me, it's not worth me fighting with it. I'd rather go where I get more connected to my center.
Katie, any thoughts you want to add to that?
Me?
Katie, yep, actually.
Oh, Katie.
She's muted.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
So you can do, you can do 2 springs upstretch combo. I do it on 2 springs. I find, like Lesley was saying, that it's more of a challenge when you do it on 1 spring. But, if you feel the springs are too heavy, like that's why you have the system. You go to different pieces of apparatus to build the strength. So maybe you go to the Cadillac and you do arm springs. In terms of doing Swakati, I do that on 1 spring. I don't think I know anybody that can do it on 2. Maybe Chris Robinson, but only no, not even Jay, not even. So I just do it on 1 spring as well. But like Lesley was saying, go to the baby chair or go to the armchair and build it there. But otherwise, yeah, the springs are great. I love the drag. It doesn't just pull you in. You have to bring the carriage home, and for me, that makes a huge difference in the work. If you do the work and the reformer's just there to kind of help you, but you move the carriage. I don't know if that's kind of all I have to say.
No, that's helpful. Natalie, what about the pedipole? Can you tell us your experience with the springs on the pedipole? You did comment about how you started so high and then made a difference.
It's the feeling is, you immediately, all of the things that, any cue that I've ever received in my entire experience in Pilates, like as soon as you put your arms in there and start to press them down, they cannot move if you're not stabilized. It's like, the other apparatus that I've experienced, you're sort of in this place where you can utilize your arms to pull down. So, there's room for more error for me personally, or what I've experienced. People can kind of move around regardless. Where here, if you put your arms in the pedipole and begin to move the arms down, if you're not connected to your center, that thing is going, or something's gonna go wrong. So I think it's really useful in that regard, because you really know, okay, is this for me? Is this exercise for me? What else? There's so many exercises. There's a plethora throughout all of the apparatus. Why? Maybe I'm going to choose to do something different. So the pedicle by far, and even the connection in terms of where it is in the arms, it's like, wow, like you could do this for like 2 minutes and be done.
Thank you. And I think that is important for people that haven't necessarily done something in the classical format. That is the beauty of the system of Pilates, that you can get stronger on one apparatus to be able to perform an exercise on another. And perhaps you don't do Swakati and Lotus ever on the reformer, but that's okay because the armchair is there. Lesley Logan, there was a question for you about the height of your ceiling, and did you have to assemble the Cadillac on its side?
I wish we'd filmed this. I wish we filmed this putting this Cadillac together, guys. Yeah, so we definitely had to bring it into the studio, and then we had to put the vertical poles in while it was on its side, and then lift it up. I'm really proud of Pilates, because that Brad and I were able to do that on our own. So yeah, my ceiling, Brad, how tall is the ceiling? 10 feet? It's
we have about a foot of space above the Cadillac.
We have a foot of space above the Cadillac, so that's all the Cadillac is, plus a foot. I mean, this is my house, so but that's all you need.
Thank you. Jay, there's a question for you, kind of from us, I think. Shannon sent this question over. So in the class today, there was a lot of instruction, and that's probably because this is video, right? You're not with the person, they're learning through a camera or an apparatus, a device here. So in your experience, they're wondering what your thoughts are on the cues, or using cues, or how much to cue.
I think that's my most unfavorite word in the English language. You cue an actor who forgot his lines, or you cue when you're playing pool. If you have set standard, you sound like a telemarketer reading from a script. Get a parrot, put it up on top of the pedal and go out and have coffee. You have to be aware of the body in front of you. That body will tell you, first of all, shut up. Most Pilates teachers talk far, far, far too much. Far too much. And all you're doing is interfering with your client learning, because they've got to be able to focus. They've got to be able to feel. They've got to be able to be aware. And again, having good equipment, they're going to get taught by the equipment, getting the feedback from the equipment. And if you're constantly talking is not teaching. You're just going to drive them crazy. And something I do, I'm always asking teachers, have you ever had a client, a really good client, who's been with you for 3 years, 4 years, 3 times a week, they're good, and all of a sudden one day, they just, in the middle of an exercise, they say, oh my God, and they start telling you something that you've told them 500 times over the last 2 or 3 years. Now, what does that tell you? Either they weren't listening to you, they just completely shut you off, or they weren't ready to hear it. They had to discover it in their own body. This is why I say you cannot teach Pilates. You can kind of guide people to find it. And they find it, it's this eureka moment, like they're the first one who's ever felt this. First one who's ever discovered it. That's what you want. Let them discover it. Try to steer them in a direction. But you can't tell them. You can't teach them. And all that talking just becomes aggravating static noise. And this is what, it's hard for teachers that are used to it. And again, when you went through your certification program, you're trained, it's talk, pick, and everything's got to be perfect and blah, 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 blah. That's not real life. What you learn in one afternoon in your certification program might be 5 years worth for a client. So don't try to teach your clients the way you were taught. Don't take out your revenge on your teacher on the clients. they're not looking for Pilates as a career. They're not looking to be a teacher. They just want to feel good. They want to look good, whatever, but their reason. But for them, Pilates is 2 hours, 3 hours a week, and they forget about it. For you guys, it's 24 hours a day. And it's a very different mindset. It's a very different lot of things. And you can't force it on them. You know, and they have to, as I say, they just have to discover it for themselves. That's so hard for a lot of teachers, you know, because they feel if they're not saying anything, they're not teaching, they're not earning their money. But what makes a good teacher is knowing what exercise to give a person. If you give them what they need, just let them go with it. Joe didn't talk very much. He didn't explain things. Clara didn't explain things. She poked. Dis. I never heard a single anatomy term. Anatomy terms were never, ever used. It was just dis. You got so many disses in your body you wouldn't believe. Again, you can stand and talk anatomy for 10 minutes and the person's going to sit there and go. You poke them. That sends an immediate message to the brain. You don't have to say a word. Dis. Okay, that's alive now. You know, the brain got it that fast. Talking about it, it's never going to happen. So that was, it's why it's very, very different now than it was back then, because things were not explained. It was like, do it, move. The important thing was to keep moving. And that's kind of lost now. I mean, they talk about these 6 principles of Pilates that Joe never heard of. And they're good. But the problem is
not so teaching.
The principle isn't there. That's move. And because it's in the movement that the body changes. It's in the movement that you begin to develop and feel things. And I love to use the example of a child on a playground swing. How do you teach that kid to swing? Do you give them a lecture on aerodynamics and gravity? You plop them down, you say, hold on, and you push. Through the movement, all of a sudden the kid's feeling the stomach work. They're not thinking about it. It's just happening. And before you know it, they don't need you. Get out of my way. I'm going higher. I'm going faster. And it's through the movement that they discover it. It's exactly the same thing with Pilates. Throw somebody down on the floor and say, move. And suddenly they'll start to feel things, whether they want to or not. I was there probably a couple of months when I started, before I ever got my first correction. And I still remember it. Use your gut. That was it. And that was after months. But what will happen, somebody comes in, they're doing the footwork on the reformer. Okay. They come in the next time, they're doing the footwork again. By the 5th or 6th or 7th time, all of a sudden they're doing the footwork and they suddenly start to feel something without you saying a word. You can't tell somebody what they should feel. They'll discover it, and it will start to happen because whether they know it or not, whether they want to or not, they're using it. And that's when it all starts to come together and mean something.
Thank you. Well, we'll have to use our gut and let our students discover the exercises. Katie, yep, I have a question for you. And I noticed that you have the Jay Grimes model of our reformer, which is the 80-inch in black, no customizations, because that's the way Jay wants it. And there's no footbar cover. Do you get any pushback from clients? So do they complain about the fact that their feet are on the aluminum and it's hard?
Yes, but I don't care, and I just make them do it anyways. But no, but in reality, you know, you don't have to fully extend your legs out all the way out. Remember, the purpose of footwork is anchoring the lining of the spine. So it's just like on the high chair. Maybe you just press out halfway, or maybe even just a quarter of the way. So you're still getting the benefit of the exercise. And honestly, the reason why they feel it in their foot is because they're not moving from their center, right? So they're dumping all the weight in their feet. And that's what I love about the metal bars, because you know when you're cheating, you know when you're not working from it, because it freaking hurts, right? So, but yeah, so if they have pain in their feet, and just have them only go halfway. Maybe instead of doing 4 springs, do 3 springs, maybe even 2 springs. And if it's maybe they have a neuroma, you just take them off this. Don't even do it here. Go to the Cadillac and do leg springs. But for my healthy clients with no foot issues, I make them do it here. They'll just have to suffer. It's fine. They'll get over it. I hope that answered the question.
No, you did. That's great. Ken, I'm going to start this next question with you, but others may want to chime in. It's a question about the length of the springs on the reformer. And we're kind of moved, but it says, can the slack on the springs be adjusted on the bottom of the Contrology reformer? If so, how much adjustment? And then the instructors can maybe chime in if have they adjusted their reformers. But let's start with Ken, since he's the brains behind us.
Sure. We spent a lot of time figuring out how much slack there should be in the springs when the carriage is all the way forward, and because it's such a critical part of how classical work works. And so for us, we had to figure out what was the right amount, and then what would some customers expect, because some customers don't want that much slack. So we built into the spring bar about 1/2 inch, or about 8 millimeters of travel. And really, there's just 2 screws on each side of the spring bar, and you just loosen those. You can slide the bar back a little bit, and then you can tighten up some of that if you want, if that's what you want to do. So it's just an option we put there just to help some customers that didn't want that amount of slack.
And Ken, you and I spoke recently because there was a question, could that gear bar actually spin? And you told me you tested it extensively, that if there were only 1 spring and someone slammed the carriage home, which they never should do anyway, it never fell off. The spring never fell off.
Yeah, we did a lot of that because that was a concern of ours. If the spring bar started to slide down a little bit, could it come off? And the only way you could probably really do it is if you were to pull the carriage back when you're not on it and let it go, and maybe that would happen. But if you're dumb enough to do that, then I don't care what you do. So
please don't treat the reformer like a slingshot and pull back and just let it go, because then the spring might come unhooked.
But really, if the spring bar were to rotate downward, which is hard, and go all the way down, there's still enough hook on the spring to hold it in place. So it's really not a problem.
Super. I think I had a question for Jay. Jay, when you worked out with Joe, was your routine similar to others in the studio? Did most students follow the order of exercises and then move into areas they specifically needed to work on?
Joe's goal was ultimately for everybody to do everything. Whether you were a 20-year-old dancer, an 88-year-old lady with double hip replacement. But what he did when you started, he would throw you on the reformer, throw you on the mat, then he would take you maybe to the Cadillac or to the wonder chair, and he would say, "This is for you." And he would give you, he wouldn't say, "This is because your back is all screwed up," or "This is because you've blown out your knee." "This is for you, make you feel special." It was always positive. He never, ever, ever said anything negative about anybody in their body. He wanted everybody to feel like an Olympic athlete. So he would take you over there, "This is for you." And you'd get maybe 2 or 3 "this is for yous" that were things specific for your body. Now, you did your first 6 or 8 or 10 lessons exactly the same exercises. Nothing added, nothing taken away. He didn't try to teach you everything he knew right off the bat. So you did those same exact exercises. And after 6 or 8 lessons, you'd come in, he would say, "Start," and he'd walk away from you. Because from day one, you were trained to be independent, to do your own springs. So then he would just leave you. I mean, he was still watching like a hawk. He had eyes all around his head, not just in the back. But now it's up to you. Here comes the mind part of Pilates. So you were left on your own. I mean, you were being watched constantly. You were never allowed to do anything dangerous. But when you got to the point where you could do all of that reasonably well, where you knew how many springs and which one, fine, you'd come in and he would say, "Start. When you get to this point, stop and call me." So you'd get to that point and you'd stop, and he would teach you 2 new exercises. Now each time do those here, now continue. So that way he would gradually start to add things to your program, and the "this is for yous," hopefully, not hopefully, they always did, would address whatever the issue was that he was giving those to, which would make everything else get better. Mm-hmm. And this is something, another one of my pet peeves with teachers nowadays. They try to correct everything in the footwork. You cannot correct anything in the footwork except the position of the feet. Somebody's got shoulders like this, okay? They're pushing up. Now you can get your shoulder, okay, fine. And they go right back. You cannot correct any footwork. But you see, here's an issue. Okay, so we finish with the reformer. Now let's go over to the spine corrector. This is for you. He gave us all of these tools. So when somebody's coming in, when you're watching them do their footwork, that's when you should be planning the lesson. Not the night before, when you don't even see the body. When they're there in front of you and moving, now you see, oh, why are the hips uneven? Can you correct that in the footwork? Of course not. So why are they uneven? So watch what's going on there. Now what do we need? Do we need to do leg springs on the Cadillac? What is it we need to do with this? This is why you need to know every exercise on every piece of equipment, so you know which tool to use. And that's basically what it comes down to. You're a mechanic. So you've got your tools, know how to use them and which one to use when.
Well,
So
Jay, that's a perfect segue into our final question. Can you and Jay collectively have created quite a plethora of tools for us to use here? We understand that there are some other things in the pipeline. Inquiring minds would like to know what they can expect next.
We are so close to a ladder barrel right now that should be available, I'm thinking, within a couple of months. And then the next thing is a wonder chair, and then I'm getting a lot of requests for a mat.
Matt,
Right, Lesley?
Matt, I'm holding my tongue. I can't anymore.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, send in your request.
Matt.
Exactly. Mats. Anna says Mats. Behind the scenes here, they're saying Mats exclamation points.
It's we have to decide what we're going to build, and then we have to build prototypes, and that takes a while because we have to make the parts, and then we have to make sure that everybody likes what we build, and it could take a couple of iterations, and then it has to go into production, and that's why these things take so long.
I know, Ken, but can I just, while I have you, can I just say, this mat that's on the Cadillac, because I don't do mat on the Cadillac, I always do my mat on my mat. But when I was preparing for this, I'm gonna do mat on the Cadillac, I was working with my teacher, Sandy, and she was like this, like there's so many things that I struggle with in my mat practice where I'm trying to use all the things and all the room to teach my body to do something. As soon as I get on this mat, it's that they're gone. So I guess I still have things to work on, but a lot of the tricky things are eliminated just because the equipment is correct. And so, I mean, if you could just take this and put some handles in it and a strap, I feel like we're good.
By the way, the feel of the mat, I owe it to Jay and to Sandy and to Karen. They just, they working with them, that's how we got it right. So,
it's the best.
I have only one thing to say. The mat is the heart and soul of Pilates.
Right,
Amen.
so again, the mat.
It's the Endelman.
And Joel Crosby has messaged in Matt with like 10 exclamation points. So just reiterating, Matt. Maybe put that at the front of the line.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to thank you, all of you, for being here today. We have, had a beautiful 2 hours, and I'm sure people have other things to do, but I want to thank my instructors who are outstanding. You all did a great job. You were really easy to hear. So thank you, Natalie Rand. Thank you, Katie Yip, and thank you, Lesley Logan. Thank you, of course, Ken Endelman, for making this all happen by creating equipment with our partner, Jay Grimes, and our behind the scenes crew, Katie Turley and Shannon Cook, who really make sure that you can see everybody and that you knew about this event. Thank you to them too. And we'll see you guys very soon. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining.
Thanks everybody in the world.